What's up, guys? Welcome to Good Morning Lambo. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay, here to talk about this Packers 49ers win. And obviously, it's a Victory Monday. This is the highlight of every season. There's nothing better than a Victory Monday, man. It just consists, for me, Tim, I don't know about you, but for me, it's just do the morning show, watch tape, watch the McAfee show and their overreactions on Monday while I'm cutting up Chalk Talk. Man, it doesn't get any better than this. This is like heaven.
And enjoying the 49er fan tears that are flowing freely this morning. Gotta love it.
It is so bad.
Baby.
It's so bad. But we'll get into all of it. Appreciate everybody. I see the chat's already lit up. Thank y'all for making us a part of your morning as we get ready here on this Monday, November 25th, to just kick the work week's ass. You know what I'm saying? That's the goal here. Yeah, Tim. So obviously Tim sent this over to me, guys. I hadn't seen it. Hell of a quote. Thank you for making me aware of it, Tim. We'll just kick the show off with this right here. So over at, I guess it's Gridiron, Bleacher Report Gridiron, I think is what it is. I could be wrong. But Packers don't want to hear the excuses. So this is a quote from Keyshawn Nixon after the game. It's the NFL. It's not an excuse. We didn't have our quarterback. We won 3 games. So we don't want to hear that. We came to play. They should have came to play. Tim, you have the floor, sir. Thank you for, like I said, finding this, man. What an awesome quote.
Man, I love Keyshawn so much for this. I really do. Because, we talk about this all the time, right? There's 53 guys on a roster for a reason. It's next man up. You live and die as a team. And yeah, the Niners didn't come to play, obviously. Got a little interesting there toward, in the middle 8. We talked about it yesterday a little bit. Almost thought they were going to get back in that game when it was a 10-point game. But we just did what I've been, hoping for a while, which was just step on their neck and put that team away. And that's exactly what we did. And Keyshawn's right. We don't want to hear the excuses. We didn't have excuses. We got behind our backup quarterback and we were banged up and we found ways to win. So, it's the NFL, man. And it's big boy football. And, hey, Keyshawn can talk the talk, man. He played big boy football yesterday.
Yeah,
a couple of really good plays. And I just love the attitude. And I love the mindset. Glad Keyshawn signed that contract, man. I think he's earning his check this year. I don't care what anyone says.
No, I'm with you, man. He hasn't been perfect. But the fact that they were able to move him from slot corner to the boundary says so much. I mean, it's absolutely – it's huge. And the best way to describe Keyshawn, if someone had never watched Keyshawn play football and they said, hey, what kind of player is he? I would say high energy, high effort, and I would say he's a safety playing cornerback. That's kind of how he plays the game. You know what I mean? He's physical with his tackling ability. He can spy the hell out of the quarterback. We've seen that in the playoffs last year against Dak Prescott. You guys remember that sack he got in that game. But also, man, him going across the field to force that fumble all the way across the field. I'm sorry, man. I'll take that over the most talented player who isn't going to dip their shoulder in there and, try to make a play. I think Keyshawn plays the game the right way. Again, he's not perfect. I don't think he's a very good player, to be honest with you. I think he's good. I think he's above average to good. And when you throw in the fact that he plays with his hair on fire and plays with a bit of an attitude and never complains, he's never complaining about the scheme. He's never complaining about his teammates. He's that dude that he seems like he's a real guy. I like him a lot, man. And again, that was a huge, huge play. Now you talked about when the game was 17-7, just a 10-point lead. Every week when I'm doing Chalk Talk, like this week I got 16 plays. But when I'm breaking down Chalk Talk every week, there's always 1 or 2 plays that I go, nobody's really talking about that play, but it was huge. It was huge. The big one to me, obviously the Keyshawn Nixon forced fumble was awesome and all, but the Xavier McKinney pass breakup in the third quarter, right on the cusp of the middle 8, you just exited the middle 8. It's 10:51 left, 4th and 2 at Green Bay's 39-yard line. You're up by 10 points. That pass breakup, man, what that was Kyle Shanahan said, let's flex Christian McCaffrey out and let's get him out in space. That's our best player, right? Let's get him out there in space. And the Packers matched it by bringing Xavier McKinney down and going, all right, one-on-one here. They ran a Slay concept, typical Slay concept is a slant from the 1 and out from the 2, or a flat from the 2, I should say. This was kind of in between a flat and an out route. So it was like a 3-yard out with a dig. So they still call that slay. And they were trying to get a little rub on that, right? And Xavier McKinney just played an absolutely perfect pass breakup. He really came to play yesterday too. So again, thank you for making me aware of this, Tim. That's an awesome quote there.
I love it, man. He's a dog, dude. He's a dog. And like everything you said was so true too. Hard work beats talent every time. I don't care what anyone says. You can be the most talented player in this league if you're not out there busting your tail. We got scrappy guys in this league that are going to make you look bad. And that's Keyshawn right there for sure.
Yeah. Dane Stromstad in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Aaron Rodgers in the chat says, I quote tweeted the Niners post with the scene from Remember the Titans. Oh, football isn't fun anymore. Love it. Love that scene in that movie as well.
Oh, man. He's going to have so much fun on that trip back to Cali. That's going to be great, man. Man. Enjoy the Victory Monday flight for sure. Especially
if you got a pterodactyl up here, man. Especially if you are running into 49ers fans, right? Oh, my God. And listen, take the high road. Don't say anything. Just grin and nod at them. That's all you got to do. Good morning. How are you?
Just say, hey, we'll see you in the playoff. Oh, wait. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm going to go grab a bagel. You need anything? You guys need anything? You good? Right. That's how you handle that for sure.
I love it.
I'm trying to learn how to do that on Twitter, but I still struggle. Let me tell you. Let's go to the chat. Nick McSwain says, good morning, PTA. Anyone else surprised when Brady said the Packers run on first and second down more than any other team? I don't know what the exact numbers are, Nick. Now, yesterday, first down passes, to the best of my knowledge, we only threw 5 first down passes. Like every week, it's tapering down, right? And again, yesterday we talked about that's what the game plan should be, and is really lean on the run. That may be the case, Nick, but I'm with you. That would be kind of surprising to me if that were the case, that the Packers led the league in first down runs. I could probably find that on the personnel website. I may dig through that later and see if we can get confirmation on that. Nick also says, also curious as to why they weren't kicking touchbacks. Debo was making me nervous after that big return. I'm not going to lie, Nick. It was making me nervous too. But it's obvious that they seen something with what the Niners were doing on returns that they wanted them to return the football, right?
Yeah.
Now, Tim, on the surface, whole bunch of penalties on their special teams. Do you think that might have been what they seen on tape? Like, hey, look, comparatively speaking across the league, this special teams unit for the 49ers got a ton of penalties. Let's make them return the football. You think that might have been it?
I do. That sounds like Coach Bisaccia all day to me, right? I agree with what, I think Bates mentioned this last night that, it's okay to do that, but why the hell were we kicking the ball to Debo? Or maybe Emilio mentioned that, hey, kick the ball to the left side, kick it to someone else. But I think it was, and you looked at our special teams unit, man. We were getting after it. We broke off. We gave up that one that Debo broke off on us, obviously. But other than that, man, Rob Rochelle and the boys were playing really well on special teams, and I think maybe Coach Bisaccia figured, hey, maybe we'll get a turnover here on special teams on one of these plays. I mean, guys could have punched the ball out like we saw Keyshawn do. I mean, we were forcing turnovers left and right. So why not, and I think it was intentional. I don't think we need to have a conversation about, Brandon McMoney's leg because that was by design. You could tell in his approach. But I'm all for it. With these new rules, it's a little different. I think, even at this point in the year, I don't think anyone's really used to it yet. I think they're still kind of exploring these new kickoff formats. But I'm going to trust the guys that make millions of dollars to make these decisions, I may not understand it all the time, but, I'm with it, as long as we're not giving up, huge returns. And we only got bit in the butt on that one yesterday. So,
and again, penalty.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And they shot themselves in the foot too. So I think that was part of the logic there. I trust Coach B and, hey, we got the dub. That's what matters.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, Nick in the chat. Still see people complaining about the win. Someone said they didn't blow them out fast enough.
Sit your butt outside.
I love that our viewers, our listeners, are cut from a different cloth than that. It's just, it makes me so happy that we've built a community here where you kind of flush that noise, flush that nonsense off to the side and go, okay, look, we're actually going to talk about what happened, why did it, when something bad happens, we're going to talk about it. When you get a win, we're going to talk about why they won. When you lose the game, we're going to talk about why they lost. And there is a certain portion of the fan base, and it's a very, very minute, loud portion of the fan base, that no matter what happens, they're going to try to find the negative in it. And that's okay. That's cool. I just love that we try to keep that out of this show. I really do, man. Because, and I say we, not me, not Tim, not Emilio, you guys. Like, you look at the chat is really, really positive. Every now and again, you'll get a negative Nancy in there and everything. And again, when you lose, when things go wrong, it shouldn't be about, oh, let's harp on everything that's wrong. It should be, okay, what happened? Why did it happen? Is it fixable? Is that a roster change that needs to take place? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get too deep into it, but it's like Rashawn Gary's still getting slandered. Like, it's every week there's a reason why he made a play. There's a reason why it wasn't a spectacular play. Like, he legit got a strip sack yesterday. He comes in, beats his guy like a damn drum, slaps the arm of the quarterback. The ball falls out because the quarterback recovered it and LVN tackled him. It's like, well, that wasn't really Gary. That was LVN. It's like, boys, it's like they go out of their way to try to find a reason why Gary isn't good. And like I'd said, I responded earlier on Twitter. I can't remember who tweeted at me, but I was like, bro, he's leading the Packers in pressures. As a matter of fact, I think he's doubled the amount of pressures of anyone else on the roster. He's doubled the pressures of anyone else on the roster, and he leads the team in sacks. He's not playing his best football. Nobody's saying that. But to sit here and pretend like Gary needs to be off the team is just mind-boggling to me. Because what you're looking for now is LVN to emerge, right, as that opposite edge rusher opposite Gary, and take some of that heat off of Gary, some of the chip blocks and all that. And you've seen LVN. We're going to hit some of the highlights here in a little bit. You've seen where he busted through a double team there and got the strip sack, right? Matter of fact, here we go. Mike Ebring in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says, how many snaps did LVN have? Maybe this is the start of something great, ? So when you go to the defensive snaps, LVN he only had 18 snaps. 18 snaps, and the dude made his presence felt. Pretty damn cool. So when it comes to the edge defender, since we're just glancing at this since Mike asked, you can see the top edge defender was Rashawn Gary with only 26 snaps, right? And then after him, it was Brenton Cox Jr. with 22. Then it was Kingsley Enagbare with 19. Then Lucas Van Ness with 18. So they seen something in Brenton Cox Jr. that they wanted to try him. Now, immediately people go, okay, well, Brenton Cox Jr. didn't show up in the sack column. I don't remember him pressuring the quarter. I don't remember him. No, but the defense held them to 10 points. You have to take that into consideration. Do you know what I'm saying, Tim? Like, you got to take the whole body of work. Okay, how well did they gel together? Next week, it'll probably be LVN that gets the majority of the snaps, or maybe Enagbare, right? It's just you got to play the hot hand. Somebody might break a shoelace. Somebody might be a little winded. And then all of a sudden that drive ends and they don't get back in as quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and they're playing as a unit out there. And, say what you want about the stat sheet. Brenton Cox Jr. was, involved in a lot of these big plays. Him doing his job is what freed up the space for other guys to do their job. And that's what complementary football is. That's what Matt LaFleur was talking about. This game, being a great example of, I believe he said, complementary football at its finest. Everybody's playing for each other, doing their jobs. Your comment about, LVN, 18 snaps, and look at the impact he had on the game. We could say the same exact thing for JJ Enagbare. We could say the same thing for TJ Slayton. Definitely Carl Brooks. Colby Wooden, 21 snaps. Definitely played good football yesterday. May not jump off the stat column. So what? Same thing with Kenny Clark. We can talk about Kenny Clark kind of being down lately. Made some plays yesterday. It was awesome to see him get that fumble recovery right after making a mistake and committing a penalty. That's what you want to see guys do. You want to have a short memory when it comes to making a mistake. Go out there and execute on the next play. They're playing as a unit, man. Say what you want. Devontae Wyatt, too, was effective. Christian McCaffrey did not light our asses up yesterday, and a lot of that is because these guys were playing together, playing for each other out there. So, stats are cool. We want to see sacks. We want to see pressures. But, I like seeing guys occupying a double team and freeing up their teammate to go in there and make a play.
Yeah. Coach Lynn in the chat, LVN season has begun. Yes, it has. And again, we'll hit on that sack here in a little bit. It was an awesome play for sure. Nick McSwain says, yeah, Ron, people still dogging the defense for giving up a touchdown, though. LOL. Just I don't get it, man.
They gave him 10 points.
Right. And Ron points out, held Christian McCaffrey to 31 yards rushing. Unheard of.
Like, if you guys can't be happy about this win, I'm just going to pray for you guys.
And when he's saying you guys, he's not talking about people in the chat. Like I said,
no.
When we talk about this,
about the fan base that's complaining about what was the final score? 38-10, and you're complaining.
What got me too was they got loud there in the second quarter. All the negative, and then all of a sudden, by the start of the fourth quarter, crickets. Like, if you're gonna talk like that, at least have the balls to come back and go, hey, I was wrong, man. They finished strong. Good game. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're all emotional. But they'll go quiet, and then they'll wait until Rashawn Gary trips or something in a game, and they'll put, oh, here, look at this goofball. It's like,
I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
Again, though, let's key in on the positive aspects of the game here as the Packers get a big win. So playoff probability. Fox Sports put this out. Green Bay Packers are the 6th seed right now, sitting at 8-3. They looked dominant against a strong 49ers defense on Sunday. What? Strong 49ers? I was told that the 49ers were no good anymore. They looked dominant against a strong 49ers defense on Sunday, though it surely helped that San Francisco was without starting quarterback Brock Purdy. Whatever. It was still a second straight win out of the bye and 6 wins in 7 games overall. So they've won 6 of the last 7. The Dolphins on Thanksgiving night won't be a pushover, and then they head to Detroit. So things will get tougher for them. But they've given themselves a nice cushion. Their playoff probability is at 90% now. You love to see that. Now, here's the thing. 49ers banged up. We were banged up too, but they're banged up. That's how you should beat that team that's banged up, right? You should beat them by 28 points or whatever it ended up being, right? That's just wild to think about. The spread was 5.5 points then. We beat them by 28. Am I thinking right? Am my math right there?
Yeah, that sounds right.
So you create some momentum. You're going in to play a Dolphins team that's got the same level of momentum. They're kicking ass right now, right? So you go out there and play the Dolphins. If you could somehow, some way pull out a win on a short week there on Thanksgiving at Lambeau Field there Thursday night, you pull out that win, you create even more momentum, and you're going into the Detroit Lions game with all the momentum, and you're battle-tested, ready to go, okay, let's see if we're ready to compete with the Detroit Lions yet, right? That's kind of how that feels. So pretty cool, though, probability, like I said, playoff probability up to 90% now. As we look at the NFC standings here, this is through the playoff picture eyes, okay? And we'll get the
playoffs?
We'll get the cool graphic from NFL Nerd a little later in the week. Detroit Lions are the 1 seed at 10-1. Philadelphia Eagles are the 2 seed at 9-2. Seattle Seahawks are the 3 seed at 6-5. Atlanta Falcons are the 4 seed at 6-5. The Vikings are the 5 seed at 9-2. The Packers are the 6 seed at 8-3. Then you got the Commanders in the 7 seed at 7-5, and then the Arizona Cardinals in the 8 seed at 6-5 there. So the way that sits, Tim, you've essentially got there's only 7 teams that get in, right? Am I thinking right? Or am I mixed up here?
Yeah, it's 7.
Yeah. So they've got the Cardinals
in Atlanta at the 3 and 4 because the division, they're leading their divisions right now.
Right. And then you got Arizona in a similar situation there, right? Seattle now winning that division, but Arizona's on the outside of the playoffs looking in, I think is how this is. The spacing there throws me off, but what they're showing is the separation there, right? Are there 8 teams that get in?
No, it's
okay,
7.
It's definitely 7, right?
Yeah, it's 7.
I thought I was losing my mind. Just a second.
So the 8th team is kind of like the top in the hunt team.
Got it.
And I'm assuming that can you go back to that previous one? Yeah. So I'm assuming Arizona's on the bubble because Seattle has a tiebreaker over them. That's got to be the only reason why. It does look weird though when you look at the records. You're like, why are these 2 6 and 5 teams holding the 3 and 4 seeds, and we've got Minnesota and Green Bay and Washington with better records, but it's because of the divisional scenario. So a lot can change in the next few weeks, though.
Oh yeah, and what I wanted to point out on this graphic is look at the 2-game lead you have on the Arizona Cardinals, and what I mean by that is if you lose 2 straight games, you're still going to be the 7th seed, right? So you've given yourself some cushion there, although you want to – if you're going to make a Super Bowl run, you don't want to just back into the playoffs. You want to create momentum going into the playoffs. Now, sometimes you hope you peak a little closer to the playoffs. Look at the 2010 Packers. That's how they did, right? Sometimes you peak too early and everybody's got all this awesome tape on you. Then you go into the playoffs and you just hit a damn buzzsaw, right? At the end of the season. So you're in a good spot here where you can lose a game or two and still make the playoffs and ramp up right there at the end. And how cool would it be to face the Chicago Bears in Week 18 and get a run at that? You know what I mean? That's going to be awesome. So, again, the teams that we want to keep an eye on in terms of the Packers, they obviously control their own destiny from here on out. Green Bay does, but you want to keep an eye on the Washington Commanders, the Arizona Cardinals, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the LA Rams, and the San Francisco 49ers. Those are the teams that you want. If they drop one or two more games, it's pretty much done for them and the Packers. You're going to see them clinch a playoff berth. So, again, you got to take it 1 week at a time, no doubt. But anything else you want to add to that as far as the playoff picture here, Tim?
I just keep an eye on our divisional games. We finally got that divisional win against the Bears. We got some tough games coming up. That Lions game is going to be huge. Clearly, Detroit's going to win the division this year. But if we could leapfrog the Vikings by getting a couple of divisional wins here down the stretch, and then, like you said, setting us up for that last game of the year against the Bears at Lambeau Field, should be one for the books. A chance to we likely clinch a playoff berth prior to that game, but that a victory there in that final game could shoot us up in the rankings. Maybe get us a 6 seed or a 5 seed. We'll see. But like you said, you got to keep your eye on these other teams in the NFC right now. This is the most exciting part of the year. It's like Tom Brady said on the broadcast yesterday. Like football starts after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And it's coming up here Thursday. Happy holidays to everybody out there. But it's going to get real on Turkey Day moving forward here. And we're going to really see the final push by these teams and a lot of exciting football in store for us fans out there. So keep it locked in.
Yeah, that was the old Belichick quote, too, where he say football really begins after Thanksgiving. It's like this is when football matters. You want to put yourself in a position to make the playoffs. And now let's as quick as possible. Let's get to the point where we're playing our best football. Period. Case closed. Right.
Absolutely.
I thought Tom Brady did a hell of a job on the call again yesterday.
Man.
I don't know about you, man, but he
started towards the end of the game when he was talking about this game not being a good indicator of what this Packers team is capable of, and he talked about he thinks we're a contender, but he thinks that there's some things we need to clean up. He felt that from an offensive standpoint that the football was at risk too much. I mean, that's a 7-time champion there telling you the truth. And, I feel good about that. That's some things that we can clean up going forward. And if we tighten up on offense there, man, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with, and if old Tommy boy there sees it, hey, you got to believe it, man. The guy knows what he's talking about, right?
Yeah. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your morning festivities here on this Victory Monday. So this clip right here, the Packers tweeted out last night, the guys exiting the field through the tunnel into the locker room. Let's see. Let's check it out here.
Big dogs, pack it back, baby. Pack, baby. Pack a W. Go. I'm ready to do. Go, man, go, baby. W. That's all we get. Couple guys just being dudes. That's how we do it. Football. That's a dub right there, man. Great dub. At the crib. Feeling amazing. On to the next. Let's get it.
Evan Williams, man. That dude, he's so damn mature for his age. It ain't even funny, man. Everybody's fired.
He looks like a 10-year veteran,
It feels like Xavier McKinney is bleeding off right into him. You know what I'm saying? Like Xavier McKinney's kind of got that accountability thing. Like, hey, look, you seen him throwing the tablet last week. There were people dogging him for that. I'm like, that is what I want to see.
That's passion right there.
Yeah, that's the dude that's, damn it, I let my team down. I gotta go out there and and get the job done next time. And you're seeing Evan Williams has a lot of that in him, but man, Xavier McKinney being in that room with Evan Williams and then Javon Bullard getting these meaningful reps, all this experience at slot and bouncing back and forth. It's safety room's finally fixed, man. It is.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I love to see Tucker Kraft having some fun there after the game. These guys That's really cool, man. I love that the Packers do that with their social media team, getting that live reaction as you walk in the tunnel after a victory, man. It's clutch. Yeah. I love it.
All right, so what we're going to do, things a little different. I'm trying to streamline everything a little bit better for us here. So we're going to key in. I've got it on my Twitter page here. So these are just some of the things that came down the pike that I thought was interesting. And Tim, if you will, mark chats and keep up with that for me, and we'll keep everybody involved there. So I said, is Devondre Campbell still having fun in San Francisco? As you can see here, he's airborne as Josh Jacobs leaves number 22 on his face in the mud there at Lambeau Field. Josh Jacobs, what a hell of a game, Tim. Just an amazing football player, man. That dude, that spin move that he hit, and I think on this, you're going to see that here in a second. We'll get to it. What do you think about Josh Jacobs, man? I mean, he's everything that we needed in a running back in Green Bay, right?
Oh, my gosh, yes. And we talked about this a little bit yesterday, too. Like, it's, believe it or not, it's possible to love Aaron Jones and still love Josh Jacobs. You can be unhappy that we lost 33 to the Vikings or whatever, but how can you not be excited about the way Josh Jacobs is playing football right now? I mean, the thing that caught my attention was every time they took him out to give him a play off and get a rest. Did you see how he would just go to the sidelines and he kind of never took his helmet off? He would just kind of squat down, stretch out the hammies, and he almost looked like, like one of those like bulls at the, getting ready to get out of the cage and get back on the field. It's like the guy doesn't want to stop playing football. He runs with a level of intensity that I don't think we've seen in a long time. And it's just fun to watch him play, man. And you can see that everybody on that team is just behind him and playing for him. And he gives us the juice, man, as they say. You get a lot of juice from Josh Jacobs, man. So glad he's a Packer.
Definitely. I rock in the chat. Happy Victory Monday. Good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you swinging through. Let's see here. Coach Lynn says Tom Brady gave props to Evan Williams. Like he's noticing Evan Williams. That's absolutely awesome when the GOAT is bragging on the rookie. J. Cole, I have to give love to Quay. Watching him in person, I see why the coaches love Quay. We talk about that all the time, Jay. It's like you see him hesitate from time to time, and it's frustrating because, Tim, when Quay turns it loose, bro, he turns it freaking loose. Like he's got all the athletic ability in the world. It's just almost like want the coaches to go to him and listen, Quay, you're going to make mistakes. Stop worrying about making mistakes. Just play 100 miles an hour, right? Because it's obvious that playing with hesitation up to this point has not worked. Why not try the other side? You know what I'm saying?
I think maybe that happened at some point. Maybe it was Coach Campanelli or Coach Half. Somebody put their arm around Quay and said, "Look, man, stop playing like you're afraid to make a mistake. Right. we would rather you play balls to the wall and make a mistake. It's." Yeah. And we saw that. I put this tweet up yesterday. I thought this was funny.
How did I miss this, man?
That's where my head went right away, like Josh Jacobs kind of doing the Michael Jordan shoulder shrug. For all you kiddos out there, that was a legendary moment, 1991 NBA Finals, when Michael Jordan basically could not miss a shot if he tried. And he didn't know what the heck was going on. And that was the vibe I got from Josh Jacobs, man. Every time that man touched the football, it was just gold. So shout out to our MJ, Josh Jacobs.
Love it. I remember that shrug. I watched that live as a kid. Now it was just phenomenal, man.
Crazy, right?
All right, ML Football tweeted out, Packers DB Xavier McKinney already has 7 interceptions this season. That's 6 more than the entire Giants team combined. Giants have 1 interception this year, guys. It's the least in the league. Xavier McKinney has 7. That's the most in the league. Tied for Kirby Joseph in Detroit, right? Or tied with Kirby Joseph in Detroit. McKinney is the Defensive Player of the Year, and the G-Men had made a huge mistake letting him go. That's a wild statistic, Tim. Why the hell they would not keep him? And this is what we talk about modeling a roster is, again, those important positions, right? We talk about tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 2, post safety, mock linebacker, right? That's the 2, that's the second tier most important players on defense. You had him in-house. Why not keep him? I'm glad they didn't. Don't get me wrong. But it's pretty it's mind-boggling that they would not keep Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, and it's amazing that their GM still has a job out there. And I mean, you let Saquon and X go, and these guys are both eating right now. And your squad is arguably the worst team in the NFL right now. So, I mean, hey, we'll take it though. Thank you. We appreciate it.
No
Shout
doubt.
out to the GM in New York with the Jets and the GM in New York with the Giants. Really appreciate all your hard work for the league.
Definitely. All right, let's go to Coach LaFleur. This was the locker room speech that he gave after the big win there against the 49ers last night. You think he'll mention complimentary football, Tim? Because
I believe so.
it's complimentary football at its finest, man. Here we go.
That was complimentary football at its finest. Give it up for yourself. All three phases. In the second half, it was an interception by X that led to a touchdown. It was Van Ness forced the fumble. Touchdown. All right. And then Keyshawn Nixon running from the backside to get that ball out. Carl Brooks recovered that. Touchdown. How about Daniel Whalen?
Here's the guy.
Daniel Whalen is 133% Caucasian. Look at that guy.
49-yard average. That's a hell of a job, man. Hell of a job. Here's the deal. I do have one game ball because, listen, all the backs ran their ass off. And everybody in this room on offense blocking their ass off. But this guy tied a career high today. He had 3 tugs, all right? 26 for 106 and 3 tugs.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all boys, bro. It's been an honor, bro. Like coming here and winning, grinding with y'all boys day in and day out, trying to set that standards, set that culture. I appreciate y'all, bro. Let's keep going.
Hey, man, keep stacking. But like we said, quick turnaround, man. Get ready for Thursday night. Let's go pack on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Love it, man. You hear him getting emotional, Tim?
Yeah, man, that guy is like you had a great post, man. Josh Jacobs is all heart. He's the heart of this football team, especially on offense, the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, what can you say, man? That guy inspires his teammates. He draws the best out of his teammates. Like I said, these guys want to play for him. They want to play with him. We've heard guys make comments about, he's the type of running back you want to go out there and block for. You want to go knock someone on their ass so he can get, through that hole or make something happen. And great leader, right? I mean, this guy, he did it in his I don't know if you saw his post-game interview with Aaron Andrews, but it was more of the same from him, just talking about what a blessing it is to be a Green Bay Packer and to play with these guys. And that's leadership 101 right there, man. Josh Jacobs he's a gem. Thank you, Brian Gutekunst. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Badger Trio says Jacobs is a back you want with weather turning cold. And that's the thing. The colder the weather gets at Lambeau, the less those guys are going to want to hit on defense. That's been one thing that you always try to kind of put your finger on it, Tim. You're like, okay, why is it that some running backs, why is it the running game really ramps up in the cold weather? Is it, immediately you think the quarterback can't grip the ball as good because it's slicker, less humidity, and not being able to throw it. But one of the main reasons that you hear coaches and players talk about it is on defense, when it gets cold, when it drops down below 30 degrees, you don't want to hit it. It hurts when you hit. And when you got a guy like Josh Jacobs that's inflicting the pain, it's going to be huge, man. Again, we went from a Ferrari that we had in Aaron Jones in Green Bay, Wisconsin, which most of the year, awesome, right? When that weather turns cold, you notice Jonesy would fumble down the stretch touch, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to dog him. That was just the reality of it. You knew he was going to make violent cuts, slashes that sometimes the ball was going to knock out. You think of the 49ers playoff game a couple years ago. Josh Jacobs is we went from a Ferrari to a four-wheel drive, man, right? Yep. And when I say four-wheel drive, like Emilio said the other day, four-wheel high. There's a difference between four-wheel high and four-wheel low, right?
Right.
Jerome Bettis, four-wheel low, right? Josh Jacobs is kind of that four-wheel high, man. He can still, he can accelerate, he can cut on a dime, but boy, he's willing to run through people, man. There's no doubt about that. I think you're spot on there, Badger Trio. Mike Ebring in the chat says, I admit I was wrong about Jacobs. I thought he was physically washed up after his season last year. Mike, we didn't think he was washed up, but you heard us say over and over and over, man, we were hesitant too. You wasn't the only one that was, I wouldn't say wrong, but we were like, are we going to get 2022 Jacobs?
Yep.
Or are we going to get 2023 Jacobs, right? And it's obvious that we're getting closer to 2022 Jacobs as he's continuing to ramp it up here, man. But yeah, you wasn't the only one that was hesitant on that, right? Right, Tim? We talked about that.
Yeah.
Like, we're going from Aaron Jones to a guy who had a down year. Is he going to return to form or not?
Absolutely. And then we kind of saw it a little early on during camp. You saw the work ethic, and you saw, okay, he looks pretty good physically. But now as we grind through the season, you see, get to the locker room, take an IV, take some pickle juice, whatever they had to do to get you out there again. He's just tough as nails, man. And we know he's got issues, back issues and things like that. But I do appreciate the way that the Packers are handling him. We talked about them lightening the load during the practice week, so that he's got enough in the tank for game day. And he's proven that we can ride him in these games and give him the ball, and that the durability factor is real. And so I think it was totally acceptable for us to have a little bit of concern like we did, thinking that, hey, like, what are we going to get out of this guy? But now I think, as you see at this point in the season, man, that they're managing the workload properly. I still believe 25 carries per game is the sweet spot. Anything there or above, we get results like this: multiple tutters, over 100 yards rushing, averaging almost 5 yards a carry. We noticed that early in the year, you give them 17 or 18 carries and you don't quite let them get the wheels turning. We're not getting the best out of them. We're getting the best out of him now. And I really think the staff is really learning how to utilize him, and our offense is way better having him on the field for sure.
Yeah. Coach Lynn, Jacobs blasted Mustafa on that sideline. You guys remember Mustafa that we were looking at in the draft? I'll tell you where he was at on my board. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He was not the ninth best safety on my board, and he was there in a cluster where really he was probably worthy of being the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably the fifth or sixth safety off the board, according to my board. Good football player, right? And you knew that Mustafa was going to be physical, but yeah, Jacobs absolutely annihilated him. There was another one. I may be getting them crossed up. I remember Emmanuel Wilson did that at one time too. I tweeted it out. I would show it, but that was a TV copy, and we don't want to obviously break any copyright rules there. So
I thought Mustafa played pretty well, considering he was probably one of the brighter spots on the back end of that bang bang Niner gang defense that didn't show up yesterday. But I'm just happy that we ended up with Evan Williams, and not to take anything away from Malik Mustafa. He's a hell of a player too, but yeah, I just love the way we handled them boys, man. Yeah. Awesome.
Anthony in the chat, Jacobs is the power back that complements this offense perfectly. I think that's very well put. Nick McSwain, Jacobs, first Packer player to have 100-plus yards and 3 touchdowns since Dorsey Levens. Should we give away a Dorsey Levens jersey next week, Tim? That might be a good time. Let me think.
I think so, yeah.
I got an autograph one here somewhere. We might break that out. Let me see. Don't hold me to it. Let me comb through. I got a bunch of autographed and memorabilia sitting over here in this corner that Mandy continues Shiloh shop, and I go, hey, go get me a couple jerseys. Matter of fact, I think she got a autographed Lucas Van Ness jersey last night. So
what? Another one?
Much like that one. So if we were bidding on it, if we get it, we may give that one away here soon. So
very cool.
Anyway, Greg Rice, sometimes you get the running back you want. Sometimes you get the running back you need. Amen, man. Amen to that. Rail in the chat. All top 3 rushing yard leaders left all their organizations for success. Isn't it amazing what a competent quarterback and a decent O-line can do? And isn't it amazing, Rail, that the good teams in football don't buy in the BS rhetoric of you shouldn't pay top dollar for a running back. Like you always hear that, right, Tim? And what's crazy is when you look at it from the other angle, you're paying top dollar for a running back. It's still much cheaper than a lot of other positions. So why not go get that guy, right? I mean, they did it. Obviously, the Packers did it with Josh Jacobs. Philadelphia Eagles did it with Saquon Barkley. It's going to continue to happen, man. Pretty cool.
I mean, and here's the other thing. The narrative's always been to get away from these older running backs, right? The shelf life of a running back is, 3 to 5 seasons or whatever. And then they're past their prime and it's time to bring in some youth. And why give them this second or third contract? Well, yeah, all top 3 rushing yard leaders, they're veteran running backs. What a coincidence, and that's not to take anything away from some of the young and up and coming talent in the league. But I think that there's a reason why we're seeing that right now. When you've got experience combined with the right situation, you can have some longevity in this league as a running back for sure. I mean, You see it right now, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and obviously with Josh Jacobs. So love it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, the allergies, it's weather turning, Tim. It's getting me. I can feel it coming on. I'm fighting a sneeze over here. I'm trying to hold it back for dear life. But Badger Trio says, I legit think we are in for a fun ride for the next 2 months. I agree, man. I think it's going to be awesome. Again, there's a lot of stuff that you got to clean up, and I don't mean to overuse that cliche, but it's so true. There's still stuff all over that tape from the 49ers game. You go, yep, we need to fix that. We can fix that. We can fix that. So It's a perfect scenario. You create a momentum with a win, and you still got coaching tape. You still got teaching tape, I should say. It's absolutely huge late in the season right here. So tell you what, I think we're legit in for a fun ride for the second hour here too. So that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all.